Hello, and thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness. I'm Mariko, and I'm here with my friends.
Hi, I'm Yushi.
Hi, I'm Dylan.
And we're here to bring you episode 3 of Invitation to Happiness, this time on the topic of exorcism.
Wow, I cannot wait to watch this episode.
Yes, it's going to be a very interesting and educational one. But before we dive into today's episode, let's go to the streets of New York and ask the question, do you believe the devil exists?
I think there's a lot of strong historical evidence for the way that we treat mental illness to be a form of possession, or how it was interpreted, but no, not an actual spiritual possession.
I've never seen it personally, but I do believe in it, yeah.
I think to a certain extent the devil exists. In my life, nobody would have these terrible thoughts in their mind and kind of be forced to do things that make them not feel good after if the devil wasn't present in our world.
I guess maybe. I mean, like, I don't really believe in that, sort of, but like, sure, why not? There's some weird stuff out there.
Very interesting. So it seems people are not quite sure.
That makes sense because we can't see them.
Right.
But we sometimes feel the presence of them.
Definitely.
So
Sometimes it's not that people who are under mental illness think they're possessed, but their possession actually leads to a mental illness. So it's a complete reverse of psychology.
So, Master, as you know, he's written so many books regarding exorcism, devils, and evil spirits and possession. So let's dive right in. Let us learn from Master Okawa's lectures on exorcism.
Almost all of you might be feel that the possession is a bad meaning. But in the true meaning, it's not so. It's not so. The possession is a common phenomenon we watch every day. I mean the humankind who are living in this world with body, cannot see anything else without body. We humankind can see only the figure of bodies and or if it's not a body, you can see material things. So you have to think that this world is composed of bodies and things, and that's all. But in reality, our real world is made up of the spiritual entities. The possession means the souls outside of this world come back to this world, and it make influence on you because that entity want to say something to you or have some attachment to you, or they are drawing in the dark sea or river in another world, and they don't know how to save themselves.
If you talk about devils in school or in the workforce you join after graduating from school, basically in the general communal world, or what is called the public sphere, I think it is pretty much normal to be laughed at and told, that is complete nonsense. For example, when a murder occurs and you're watching the news coverage on TV, if someone were to say, "What do you think? Is it the work of the devil? Did the offender get possessed?" I think it is pretty normal to be laughed at, or for there to be a lot of protests against such a view. Because of that, putting aside personal beliefs, the general norm is to not speak of it publicly. When they make a medical assessment, they discuss it in terms of the state of the brain or how their mental state is. In this way, this world is reluctant to accept the idea that devils exist. However, when you actually have all sorts of interactions with the spiritual world and deliver spiritual messages to the world as we do in Happy Science, you wind up having to experience encounters with the devil several times a year. In my case, when the spiritual path first opened for me, and I started receiving communication from the spirit world, I learned firsthand that devils do exist. And yes, this was a shock to me at the time. When a person goes on a spree of killings or kills a lot of people like in terrorism, most likely something larger than your average evil spirit is possessing them. The possibility is high in cases in which the tragedy is aggravated.
In the movies world, devil can be perished by small swords of Megiddo, like that, 7 small swords, or like that. But it's incredible. I don't think like that. And sometimes such movie use some sacred water, holy water from the church, and spread the holy water to the person who are possessed with evil spirit or Satan. But from the standpoint of my eyes, it's not effective. They must be laughing about that. They don't feel fearness about the water or just a cross of the Christianity and Old and New Testament of the Christianity.
Yeah, so very fascinating. Master, he talked about, surprisingly, that the Christian methods of exorcism sometimes don't work as effectively as we've been led to believe. But Master Okawa, he lives a spiritual life. Every day he sees the reality of the spiritual world. So he can see for himself if the devils are defeated or if they're not by these kinds of exorcisms.
Right, so it's not just a theoretical, oh, those kind of methods won't work, I believe, but he's seen that it doesn't work.
And he talks a lot about exorcism in his book, The Real Exorcist. So in this book, he teaches us how we can become exorcists ourselves. We also had a movie by the same name, The Real Exorcist. So Yushi, can you share about that movie?
That movie, simply put, it's like a spiritually educational movie about how to attain happiness. I know it's broad, but the reason why I said it's so broad is because people don't understand that they are being possessed in a daily circumstances.
A lot of people think, well, I'm a good person, I think about others, but there are certain pockets of areas that are left unlooked at, which can create the possibility to become possessed. So it's really subtle, but this movie is so educational. It starts from one emotion, and that really captures you.
Now, to learn more about exorcism, let's move on to the next video.
Usual people sometimes think good things, sometimes think bad things. But people who make reflection every day can make their mind in tune with heavenly world. But people who cannot reflect on their lives and people who cannot pray for God or angels, they usually make bad saying to other people, that is dad or that is mom, who made me unhappy, or that is bad teacher who made me unhappy, or bad friends, they made me unhappy, or the school was bad, or the company was very bad condition in working every day, so they have a tendency to make the responsibility for other people or conditions or environment. Please concentrate on your real mind and make yourself and keep yourself in peace and peace of mind. Can I find peace of mind in me or not? Or did I say something evil to other people? Or did I ask something contrary to happy science teaching? Or am I pride myself, or too much have too much pride, or not, or deep inside you and find the reason? If you never can find such kind of reason, just be patient and keep silence and read teachings and just do good things in your life and never proud too much about what you said. As Jesus teach you, don't let it know to your left hand what your right hand did. For example, you are doing your best and you want to receive praise from other people. At the same time, you have to dig in your hole to throw yourself into it. So never think too much about evil things and other people's bad things, and concentrate on your mind and peace of mind, and please concentrate on your pray for God and wait time to let the bad people or influence of the evil spirit from you. When we have some kind of worldly desire and unsettled problems, they become stronger at that time. So when we fight against them, firstly, we or I or you, each individual must settle your own problem. It's a secular problem, I mean the worldly problem, but everyone has worldly problem. For example, the money or family or your house or school or your work or like that, some kind of secular problem. If you can, please make a decision, strong decision about your problem and cut it off. Please cut it off, this worldly problem. After that, you can enter into the sacred world.
For those of you who don't believe in these devils or the possession, maybe this is something that you can laugh it off. But from my experience as a minister, those people who are out there who's suffering from evil spirits possession, it's a matter of life or death.
First, he talked about self-reflection, right? Having a life where you can understand yourself through self-reflection, cut off the pride or arrogance which builds up. And then he talked about prayer. People who do not live a life of prayer, they often say bad things to other people. And then he talked about peace of mind. That is meditation. So we practice a lot of meditation at Happy Science, and the aim is to find peace of mind.
When you have a worldly problem, what happens is you're continuously thinking about that repetitively during the day. And as Master has taught us in the past, what comes to your mind repeatedly, that is your attachment. So my concrete example is one time I received criticism from my boss, who I loved so much. What happened was I was so insecure, and for some reason, those are the words that would come out, and I would forget all of the great things that he has done for me, all of the great things I should be grateful for, and the only thing that was occupying my mind was that one sentence of criticism. And then the way how I snapped out was by reading that book that you just introduced to us, The Real Exorcist. I was like, wait a minute, I could be possessed. That moment you notice that you could be under the influence of evil spirits, that is the way to snap out, and it worked real well, and I feel so much happier ever since that experience. And in Happy Science, there are many members who's experienced these kind of things. So in the next video, we'll be watching two of our members with experience of exorcism.
Well, I explored, for me, the exorcising prayer is kind of like, it's kind of like, for me, like a wave or forgiveness, you know, that is gonna illuminate all your flaws, your demons, you know, your darkness, the evil that is inside of you, and to be seen and forgiven, and if it's forgiven, it's gonna go away. So for me, forgiveness is very important. And also, when I first started to come to Happy Science, we did that quiz that tells you from which way you're from. And for me, I really think that forgiveness is what's going to bring true justice in the world. So really, like, this particular teaching really touched me. So that's why I want to specialize into like healing and really master the exorcism prayer.
You know, it also confirmed a lot of my own experiences of just seeing, you know, spirits and things of that nature. And Happy Science brought about a very thorough picture of how the reincarnation process works. And I'm not sure there's really a more thorough explanation than what Happy Science has.
You see spirits?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, even now? Oh, wow. Okay.
Since I was a little kid, yeah. You know, they all talk to you, and as when you're a child, everybody I think sees them, or most people do, and usually it goes away after a while. But for me, for some reason, it didn't really go away. I was always able to. So I started to differentiate at some point, you know, which ones were benevolent, which ones were malevolent, and then, you know, I started to at some point I gained an interest in exorcism as well, which is another thing that attracted me to Happy Science. There's a lot about exorcism. But approaching it in a Buddhist way rather than a Christian way, where it's, you know, the Christian view of exorcism, I think, is more like to just expel the spirit, whereas I think the Buddhist orientation towards exorcism is more to lead it to enlightenment ultimately, or lead it to a higher place. You know, it's like I've had many experiences where I'll be going about my business and I'll suddenly feel something that is out of the ordinary. And I think a lot of the time that happens to everybody, and most of the time people will just probably go along with that new way of thinking. But if you're able to stop and be like, where is that coming from? Then that's where I would be able to isolate the source of it and remove it, you know, and you know, reattune myself back to a normal state. I felt pretty soon after I became a member, I felt just a deeper sense of inner illumination. And it brought a lot of clarity to me in my life. I mean, I noticed certain, I guess you could say negative or malevolence, probably a better word, influences sort of have just dissipated. But there's a sense of, the Sangha, or like the spiritual community that I feel always connected to.
As John was mentioning, it starts from exorcism to enlightenment, right? This was the case of Shakyamuni Buddha of India, right? Mm-hmm. He attained enlightenment by exorcising the devil, mm-hmm. and then he was able to teach the people.
But before that, did you know that Buddhism has exorcism? Where I'm from Japan, I kind of know that stuff. But when I grew up here in America, I don't think anyone knew about exorcism in Buddhism.
That's true.
Wait, Buddhism does exorcism, But yeah, it's really deeply connected to our soul training of attaining enlightenment.
Knowing about exorcism and about evil spirits will give you hope, actually. It gives you the education to deal with what you are, experiencing. That is not just voices in your head. It's actually, possession. Mm-hmm. And I don't think a lot of people think about that. It's not part of our medication or our information education. And it's so vital to know this. And
not only the people suffering from possession, but their families too.
Yeah.
The reason I say this is because I saw this mom who was so afraid of her son going crazy, she thought. But when she met Happy Science teachings, she teared, saying, "Oh, my son is actually fine." So again, exorcism is a part of the modern Savior's teachings of love.
Yeah, and in that way, like BNL said, forgiveness, or in other words, mercy.
In the last part of today's episode, we'll be watching Master's lecture excerpt on the most effective element on how to do exorcism.
When you confront with devils, it's very difficult. So please fight with me. Fight with El Cantare and fight with other disciples. That is a very important thing. Don't fight only one person. It's very difficult. And please choose the place, for example, the Shiv Shoja or Shoshinkan Shoja or like that, a sacred place. Please use sacred place. And at the time, and with another power, and with Lord El Cantare, please pray. You must go away, get away from here. Don't possess this person. Never possess this person. You are not allowed to possess this person. Please say like this. Strong words is essential. If you have enough belief in El Cantare and you have faith in three treasures, I mean the Buddha and Buddha's law and the Sangha, I mean the members of Happy Science, you can be protected by saint power from heaven and from this earth. So please rely on Happy Science group and the teachers of Happy Science and teachings of Happy Science, and finally, of course, please rely on El Cantare. No one can defeat El Cantare in this world and in another world, because El Cantare was and is the origin of the human souls of this earth.
Yes, so Master Okawa, he gave us very essential points on how to fight evil spirits. Mm-hmm. Firstly, don't fight alone. And next, he talked about the place. And thirdly, he talked about the power of faith. Faith in El Cantare. El Cantare is the origin of human souls. So by using El Cantare's power, no evil spirit can defeat you. These 3 points are absolutely crucial when fighting evil spirits.
Yes, and we have countless books and lectures about evil spirits and possession. So you can come in, read, let us know your problems, and we can help you through it. Because again, you don't want to fight alone. It's more effective to, fight together with people, with teachers who know these teachings that can help you overcome your issues. And in a way, Happy Science temples are kind of like a gym for the soul. You come here, you work out, you get stronger in the mind. You understand the nutrition that these books of wisdom give you, so you work it out and you start, training yourself to be able to deal with these things.
Especially a tool called Kigan, or ritual prayer, is absolutely powerful. So if you are suffering, or if your friends or family, if anyone you know is suffering from evil spirits, please come to the temple and let us help you through Alcantara faith.
If you would like to learn more about Okawa and the teachings of Happy Science, visit invitationtohappiness.org or call us at 929-323-4737. Here at New York Temple, you'll find all of Okawa's publications and video lectures. We are here to support you in building a bright future. Come join us for weekly Sunday workshops and weekday guided meditations. Also, please find us on Facebook and YouTube by searching Happy Science New York. Your happiness is our mission.
Once again, thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness. We truly hope you enjoyed today's program and can learn many things from it. Next time, we'll be exploring the topic of channeling and how to receive insights from heaven.
I cannot wait to hear about that topic.
Yes, it's going to be a very, very exciting one. So see you next time.
Tolerate you, devil!